Hey guys, today we're going to have a little chat about Zionism. I have been watching a lot of Charlie Kirk recently. It's been suggested to me through YouTube, and so I've been watching him just trying to figure out who Charlie Kirk is. And Zionism has popped up about 30% of the time whenever I watch him. So this is something that I never wanted to have an opinion on. I didn't really understand the situation. I didn't really know what Zionism was, and so I just sort of went along with everybody and said, okay, they should have the land. However, looking into it more, I'm not a Zionist. I don't think they should have the land just because they're Jews, or just because their religious stuff happens there. Even my religious stuff happens there, and I don't think that they should just automatically have it. So the reason why, though, and I'll give you a couple, is the first most important one to me is that you can read the Bible, okay, and see that the Israelites were given this land because they were obedient to God and they followed Him. Every time that they are not that way, they lose that land, okay? They lose everything that they have and they go back into either slavery or just being dispersed or what have you. I think that if you wanted to see where the land was that they had, I think Exodus 13 does a good job of showing you kind of where it is. You can kind of get the idea. But wherever it was, or wherever it is, however you want to look at it, basically that land is a reward or a place of refuge, however you want to look at it, for the Jewish people because they are God's people. So then you have to think about, I had to think about sort of, well, are they God's people now? And I don't really think they are, mainly because they deny Jesus. So they don't believe Jesus is the Messiah. They don't think any of that stuff. So they're not any different than any other pagan person. Because they deny Jesus, they will be denied by God. So should they have the land? No. Do I think that they should keep it because they reside there, they've been able to hold on to it, things like that? Yeah. I don't think the Palestinians have a right to it any more than like the Jewish person has a right to whatever the Palestinians have. I think this war stems from a lot of other biblical things that are happening. I think this is actually the continuation of two brothers fighting, but I'm not going to get into that really right now. I looked into sort of what Zionism is politically, and essentially it's just money. It's a pack, right? Where they give money, people give money to these packs. So there's APAC and there's JAC, JAC. And they work both sides of the aisle to get money, to get support for Israel, okay? You could say one's more lefty, one's more righty. JAC, or JAC, or the Joint Action Committee for Political Affairs, gosh, I don't know why I'm so burpy, is the left side of the Zion influence, okay? Its stated purpose is to dedicate to helping elect federal candidates who support issues reflective of Jewish values. And Jewish values are defined by them as reproductive rights, combating anti-Semitism, gun violence prevention, and separation of religion and state. Now that, as you may well know in liberal speak, means reproductive rights means abortion, gun violence prevention means taking away your guns, separation of religion and state means you can't use your religion. They want to make it illegal to use your religion in your thought processes, basically whenever you go to consider something. Combating anti-Semitism can be everything up to laws saying you are not allowed to say anything bad about a Jewish person. And we have seen a couple of those pop up here recently, and I am not for those. I'm not pro that. You should not be policing people's voice. You should not be policing their words. If they want to, based on their own morals, fine, but you don't get to. And that's where I stand on that. So then the right kind of side, the APAC side, which is, I think you hear more about this than you do JAC, is the American Israel Public Affairs Committee. And so it's kind of loosely righty. Because again, it's the U.S.-Israel relations, and then they mainly focus on peace in the Middle East. We want to arm Israel, we want to disarm the other guys, and if you want to give money to that, then just that, then you can give here. But essentially, Zionism is just, we want money so that we can keep our land, and we want you to pay for that. The reason why I say it's like kind of loosely right is because they don't get into or stop any of the other sort of social things that happens, such as the abortion, such as protecting gun rights for Americans, things like that. But they will support abortion, they will put people in that will take your guns away, and they will put people in who want to police your voice, police your words, and make it so that you can't speak. So I can't be part of that. I'm not a Zionist. I don't want those things happening in America. I'll never give them money because of that. Okay? So those are the two largest ones. There's a bunch of little ones also, but those are the two that are biggest. And one of the numbers I saw, I think on AIPAC, was like $80 million is spent on getting candidates into our system that support these things. So that's why everything seems a little bit more liberal. That's why it's become harder. It's one of the reasons, not all reason, but one of the reasons is because we have this major money push to make sure that these things happen. Okay? So if you want an abortion and all that, you can put your money into JAC, and they will help you find a candidate who supports Israel and will give you that abortion. Okay, so I can't be part of that. I'm not a Zionist now. Basically, being a Zionist means money for Israel, and money for abortion, and money for taking away my gun rights, and money for making sure I can't say certain things, etc. like that. So not Christian morals, not even, they say Jewish morals, but I wouldn't even say Jewish morals. But it's not morals. It has nothing to do with that. It has nothing really to do with religion or etc. So this research really opened my eyes on Zionism, and again, that's why I can't support that. I can't be part of that. That is against everything I believe in and what I believe the Bible supports and says we have as a natural right. Okay? So, I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments if any of this information changed your mind, or if you learned something new, or if you think I'm totally off base. Again, the blog has a little better breakdown. Of course, I'm going to link the blog in my description. It also has where I got all this information from. So if you want, receipts, I've got that on the blog a lot. Actually, I've got about 9 here. Usually I only have about 4 maybe. So go take a look at that so you can see kind of better where I'm coming from. Anyways, guys, thanks for listening and having this little chat with me. I will be back probably next week. I just want to let you know that we are slowly getting our house sold. So I may be in a different place. I might have to take a video and do like certain sections of it in different shirts. But I'm trying to be dedicated to this. I really enjoy thinking about these things and talking about them and having conversations. So I'll see you in the next one, okay? Bye.